Hello guys and welcome back. In this lecture, we're going to be learning how to export for screen and for web. Now there are diverse ways, there are several ways of exporting for screen and for web, and we're going to look at all of those ways in this video. Okay, so just come here and then open and select this other one here, this other one which says 14. Okay, open it and you're going to have this design opened. Now in order to export for screen or for web, we only use the RGB format. That's the recommended format. The RGB color mode, rather, that's the recommended color mode for exporting to for the sake of screens and the web. Okay, so the first method of exporting, which we will be looking at, is just come to file and export as. Okay, so when you export as, you're going to choose the format, whether it's the JPG or PNG. PNG will be if you have transparency, all right, if you don't have a background. And then there are way more formats. There are other formats here. We have the Photoshop format, we have the SVG, we have the TIFF, the TIFF format, we have the Targa, and we have other formats. Okay, I'm just going to choose the JPEG and export. Now this option, this dialog box now still pops off, and then for color mode you will just choose the RGB and the color like this, and and the quality like this. That's to the maximum, or we could just make it high, or we just make it 9 or 8. Okay, just know that with a higher quality comes a higher file size, right? So that's just what you need to know. And then now baseline, and for this resolution we could choose 150 or 300. Anyone would do, and then export. Now right now there's something I forgot to do, and I'm just going to cancel and redo that. So export as, and we forgot to choose the artboards. Okay, we're going to use, if we choose all, it's going to export all our artboards. Okay, we're going to export all our artboards in a single design, okay, in a single JPEG image. But we don't want to export all our artboards. We just want to export one, or the first artboard, which is artboard 1, right? That's this one. Okay, so just choose one here and then export. And for quality, we can make this 9, and resolution we can just make this 150 or 300, and it's just okay. And then Adobe Illustrator will then do its magic and create our file, and as you can see, we now have our file created. Now we can send this to our mobile devices, we can use it on the web, and so on and so forth. We can even print it, okay, using machines that accept RGB color modes. And then the second way to export is come to file, export, and then export for screens. Okay, so when you export for screens and then come to artboard, it's going to show you all the artboards available, so you can export them, or you can select the one you want to export by simply checking this box. So if you check this box only, it's going to export artboard 1. If you check the both of them, it's going to export the 2 artboards. You can click here to change the name of the artboard. Okay, maybe we'll make this AI1. Okay, and then we have what we call the prefix. Now you can choose a prefix in order to differentiate your designs. And then what else? For here, you can click here to go to the location where you would like to export your design. Okay, and then for the resolution, we can come here where it says scale, and currently we have it as 1x, which is just the same size as this one. Okay, it's going to export the same size as what we have. We have 2x, which will do times 2 of the size. We have 3x times 3 of the size, and we can actually choose resolution here. Okay, so we can type in custom resolution. Let's say 350. Okay, so 350 ppi. Okay, and then for suffix, we can also put a suffix, maybe AI, to further differentiate our designs. That in a case where we have multiple designs, okay, where we want to export multiple artboards or multiple assets. Okay, now we have where it says formats, and we can choose PNG, where so it exports the whole artboard as a PNG. Okay, and we have JPG, and we have PDF, okay, and we have SVG. So for this we can choose any of them depending on what we want. Okay, and then just click export artboard, and when you click export artboard, it's going to export the artboard to this location where we have chosen. And then the next way to export is export selection. Okay, so how does this one work? Let's assume we want to export this asset only. Okay, just this one, just this one. So when we select it, we can come on file and export selection. So it's going to only export the particular asset which we've selected. Okay, it's going to export just the particular asset or the particular item which we've selected. If we say cancel and then come and select the whole design here and come to file and select export asset, it's going to export the one we've selected, that's this one. Okay, and as you can see, the one we had selected before is still here, and we can just check this box here to export all of them together. Okay, and you can then choose the format, the location, the size, the prefix, the suffix, just like how we did before. Okay, so in this case, let's say we want to export a PNG image. Okay, so let's assume we want this to be a PNG image that's without a watermark, sorry, that's without a background. All you then do is select it, then let's say logo PNG. Okay, and just make this resolution, let's make this 250 ppi. Then we won't write anything for prefix and suffix, and just choose PNG here and export assets. Now Adobe Illustrator exports our assets, then creates a folder with the name 250 ppi. Okay, that and with our assets exported. Perfect. Now the last and final way to export is using a tool called the asset export tool. Okay, we can find this tool on the Windows, then asset exporter or asset export. Okay, so as you can see, it even saved our history of the previous exports we did. So in order to use this file, let me just select this guy and undo, sorry, and ungroup, so we have them as separate assets. So in order to export using this tool, all you need to do is select your file and drag it in. That's all. So just drag it in and select it from here and choose the resolution, choose the format and the prefix, and then export. So it's going to export your assets like this. Yeah, okay, when you click export, it's going to allow you choose location, right? So select this location, and now you see it has exported it in this folder. Perfect. And let's say we want to export this guy, and we select them like this and just drag them in. You can see that it's going to view each of these shapes as individual assets. Why does it do that? Because they are not grouped. Okay, they are not grouped. So if they were grouped or if they were joined using the Pathfinder tool, it's going to view them as a whole asset. Okay, so just select them and delete. So in order to export it, you have to select them all and just group and then drag it in, and everything will work out just perfect. Okay, so with this, we've come to the end of our video on exporting out of Adobe Illustrator for web and for screens. Hope to see you in the next one.